The Fed raises its interest rate and the market rates go down. And we're going to discuss what happens when you find pot plants in the back of the house that you're thinking on buying on today's Unnamed Real Estate Podcast. Hi there, this is Charles Ray Dawson, residential sales manager and associate broker at ProStar Realty. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, and we just got the glare out of my glasses out of the way. So in episode 86. So I hope everybody's having a pretty good week. It's today is the 22nd. I guess yesterday would be the first day of autumn, so this is the second day of autumn. I don't know exactly when the equinox happened, but hope everybody's enjoying their brand new fall. That's last 2 days of overcast have been really sort of awesome and everything. I mean, it was drizzled for like hours yesterday. It's sort of cool. So, last week, I titled I Buy and Die. Okay, we call that the fact that the iBuyers were starting to experience some problems coming out with the latest bit in the market. And yesterday, on the 21st, Comfort Report came out and basically just affirmed what I had been saying, which is really sort of cool because I don't get to get in front of them that often, but it's it happened again. So just a couple things right there. Open Door actually does look to be selling a good chunk of their current housing that they have under control of at a loss. They're still selling some above what they purchased for, so they're making some sort of money, but it does look like between selling the house for less than they bought it for and still paying commission. Sometimes they were paying commission bonuses to buyers agents. It looks like they're definitely trying to reverse. OfferPad's doing a little bit better. They're still making money on every one of their sales, but in both cases they have definitely decided they don't want to buy new inventory. So as those things work their way into the market and then get picked up and work their way out of the market, we'll see how the rest of this turns out. I do find it's really interesting, though, that if they're having to go this route and put it on the MLS, that means that their backdoor buyers that they had, the big real estate investment trust, are probably not picking up the houses that they were before. So this, of course, means that our inventory keeps going up. We'll see that in the numbers here in a second. And so what does this mean to you? All right. So depending on if you're a buyer or seller, tell you what I'm going to do. I recorded a quick video to use an example for our agents here, how they should be getting information out to their clients. And so I just did this yesterday as an example. I'm going to attach it on right here so you can take a look at that. And when I'm done with that, I'll get back to you on the back end. Hey guys, so I've been getting a lot of calls because of the news and everything that's going on lately. With the Fed and their rate hike that happened today, a lot of people are asking me and texting me about what's this going to do with my deal, my transaction, my house for sale, my home search. So breaking it down, all right, I made a lot of calls to a lot of lenders, right? Saying, hey, what's going on? What are you seeing out on the street? A couple of things have happened on this, right? One, because of something that the Fed said, Powell said a couple weeks ago, where he was suggesting maybe he had only raised the rates up half a point. A lot of people sort of panicked and went, okay, he's not taking inflation seriously. He's not taking the downturn in the market seriously. We're in trouble. And so we saw interest rates go up. That's why we've been seeing sixes for the last week or so. Now, he come out today, he said 7.5, which is what they expected a mature adult in the room to do. So now everybody took a big, sigh of relief and said, okay, he does realize what's going on. So we're actually seeing something sort of counterintuitive in this whole thing, is that, hey, wait, he just raised the rates, but we're seeing lending rates go down. Why is that? Well, it's because the market had sort of kind of panicked right there and said, I think, oh, he's not taking this seriously. I don't want to loan money out if we're going to have a big issue coming up. And that was our impact on that. So we expect to see interest rates start coming down over the next couple of days, maybe into the next week. All right. What does this mean to you for a buyer? All right. As a buyer, you need to make sure you're in constant communication with your lender and what the rates are the day you're going out and looking at houses, right? Especially if you're looking at the very top end of your qualification. If you got qualified for 500 and you're looking at a house at 500, you're going to want to have in the back of your mind what that mortgage payment is going to be. All right. So keep in contact with your buyers on that, or with your lenders on that buyer. As a seller, you need to understand as a seller that buyers are really going to be stretched thin when they're coming into your house. So you got to wow them, right? And the way to wow them is that house has to be prepared. It has to be cleaned, staged if possible. Any deferred maintenance that you might have done over time, you need to take care of that before you hit the listing, right? And most importantly, it has to be priced right from the get-go. Right. So talk to your real estate agent. Make sure your real estate agent out there has gotten a good CMA going on your property. You want to make sure that they're looking at houses that are currently or have currently sold, not looking back 6 months, right? Because remember, 6 months ago, all right, market was completely different. We were very much at the top and houses were flying off the shelves, right? So that's not happening anymore. So you want to make sure that your house is priced right using current comps. Right, it's in the best condition, and you got good photos and everything. Majority of buyers out there, the first time they see your house is going to be online. Make sure those online photos are awesome. Right. Also, you expect to have an inspection. Right. There's no reason for a buyer to have to waive an inspection anymore. He's not going up against 20 other people, right, submitting offers. They're not going to be waiving inspections. They're not going to be waiving an appraisal. So make sure your house is ready to go, right? Expect to see a Binzer. Expect to have the buyer come back with some stuff they're going to want to see repaired. Right. Some buyers or some sellers in the past used to actually get a home inspector to come in through their house before they even listed it. Right, so they could see the things that needed to be repaired and maybe get on top of them before they even list it. And if you're on the buyer side on this, and since you are having an inspection, you know that if there's anything about that house that really kicks you off, it's like, wow, I really don't like the plumbing, I really don't like the condition of that roof. Right, you can ask for repairs now. This is the new normal. This is the way the market is today. If you have any other questions, about this, call your agent, call me or Steve. We'll be happy to talk to you about it. Okay, so did anybody pick up my homage to Aaron Sorkin in The West Wing, doing the walk and talk through the office? That was probably my fourth or fifth take of that thing, because I did one and Steve didn't like it, so I did another. I did a couple that I didn't like. I did one where I was using my earbuds, all right, and because they kept rustling against my shirt, the sound quality was just ridiculous. So that's the final copy. That's the copy you guys all saw. But just to recap everything that we saw on that, buyers and sellers are going to have to respond to this market in different ways. Sellers need to really put more effort into getting their house ready to sell, taking care of repairs, making sure it's staged properly. Agents, of course, need to, get ready to actually market a house. I like to do flyers in the neighborhood. Something that other agents here have been successful doing is going to the local churches and putting house listings up on the bulletin boards, right? People are going to be interested in living in the neighborhood that their church is at. Anything to spread the buzz. Facebook ads, all the other issues on there. Professional photography, hiring somebody to come in with a good camera and the good equipment and the skill set to take good photos of everything. Because majority of people see their house for the first time online, and so those photos have to be really good. Of course, on the buyer side, it's a different ballgame, So, like I said, you have inspections. You can start working the inspections. Buyers need to keep a lot more contact with their lenders. Make sure what's the interest rate today. All right, because that's been doing some, but like I said on that, and I've heard it more today, the rates are going to start trickling down a bit because basically people are doing what other people expect those people to be doing. So, anyways, let's pop off to the numbers, and we'll play the numbers for you real quick, and then wrap up on the end. Now the numbers for September 21st. So actives this week are 19,317, up 146, once again proving that I cannot forecast the market. New listings are 2,150, down 70. Our pendings this week were 1,271, up 18. Under contracts looking for backups are 746, down 5. Contracts with buyer contingency are at 83, down 31 from last week. Closings this week were 1,501. Coming soon to an MLS near you is 741 new listings. So, demand this week was, hi Jeff. Hey, you caught me right in the middle of recording. And with the Crawford numbers, we're at 81 demand at a 77.2 supply. Demand is still trickling up, and supply is moving up, but not as fast as demand is. So still looking at possible recovery in that, even with our new active numbers. So anyways, once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, when you were in real estate, you track a lot of various real estate pages, right? And one of the ones that I track is it's real estate humor, and you pretty much do need to be a real estate agent to get most of it. In fact, I would suggest clients don't see that site because some agents say bad things about their clients, although I never do, because I love each and every one of you. But it's mostly for people, posting pretty, funny pictures, funny stories, that kind of stuff. But today, all right, a picture showed up with something that an agent found in a house for sale that they were looking through with their buyer. Now, you don't have to be a horticulturalist, and basically anybody who was born from like the 1960s on pretty much recognizes this plant. Yes, it is indeed, the wacky tobacco, the devil's tobacco. And what happens if you find this on a listing? Now, my broker Steve has a story about an open house that he had where the seller actually had some of this growing in the backyard, and Steve was there, and he happened to get like a DEA agent who decided to look at the house because they're looking for a place to buy, and that got a little bit awkward. All right, but what do you, the agent, do when you see this in a house that you're showing to your buyers? The first question you ask is this house currently being occupied by a tenant or the owner? Because it's important. All right? This is one of those weird little things they teach you in real estate school. You memorize the word and you never use it again. All right. But the magic word of the day, kids, when you discover the green monster in your backyard is emblements. Emblements. All right. This is a term for the crops on a piece of property, specifically if they're the tenant's crops. You own farmland. You have rented that out to a sharecropper, whoever, ma and pa kettle, and they plant crops on there. Right? And while the crops are still in the ground and not harvested yet, right, you decide to sell the farm. What happens to the plants? These are called emblements. Right? And these emblements are still technically property of the tenant. And even if they don't have a right to the property anymore, they still have the right to the crops as their personal property. So the tenants would still own this plant unless it was a homeowner who was occupying the place, and then it's considered personal property. Now, this is where it gets fun. Crops are considered personal property if they are owned by the owner of the property. But let's go to the Arizona real estate contract. Yes, we always wonder about these things in the Arizona real estate contract. This comes up on page 2, where we are going through fixtures and personal property that actually do get transacted. And you can see right here under outdoor landscaping, i.e. shrubbery, trees, and unpotted plants. Is this in a pot? No, it's planted in the ground. All right. According to the contract, that transfers with the possession of the house. All right. So these are the weird real estate things that they train you for, that you'll never come up with again in real life, unless for some reason the buyer and seller are contesting the ownership of said plant. Now, we here at ProStar Realty do not condone the use of any narcotics, especially illegal ones, even if they're legal in your state and the feds still think they are illegal. We'll let the feds and state figure that out, right? But remember, you do not want to be the case study when they figure out what's going to happen here. So that's your weird real estate thing of the day and your word of the week. And you know what? I actually forgot. Not only are we going to have the numbers, but we also have the word of the week. All right, and I'll tell you the story about how I got to the word of the week during that. But watch for the shirt change. I recorded this all yesterday. All right, and that wraps up this week. Funny thing is, as I've been recording this thing, I'm looking at 5 minutes of actual recording today, plus the teaser and everything, because I did the body of the work yesterday. So That being said, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Watch your pets and kids and other family, drunk uncles around water. All right. Might get more rain. You know what I say about washes. Don't be the person on the news that we're laughing at when they helicopter you off your Jeep Wrangler. Have a great weekend. Work your circles. All right. And I'll see you next week.